Hey Patreon, once again, thank you for your support. Guys, I want to go ahead and talk to you about a particular defense that I'm going to start blending into my defensive scheme. It is out of the double mug playbook. In particular, we're going to look at the nickel 2 trap. It's basically the corners blitzing, and then you have soft squats out here. You've got a cover 2 shell where you've got two guys who are going to play deep. And then you have matching hook verts that are actually in the middle of the field. Now, the reason why I like using this particular formation in this particular play is because I want to have that double A gap option of pressure, which is always going to be consistent pressure that you can go after your opponent with. So that's one of the reasons why I'm building this out as a defense opposed to some of the other match defenses I've used before in the past. So you can pretty much find this in every single playbook that has a double A gap. This is the 3-3 mug, double mug defense, but it's the nickel 2 trap is the base defense that I'm going to be using in this particular scheme. I have other plays I'm going to include. From a coaching standpoint, I always go ahead and disable the motion response. I don't want my guys getting out of position. Option key, basically conservative, RPO read, we're going to do aggressive, and then option pass key, we're going to do conservative. And then I usually leave strip ball balanced. One thing I want to do is I want to get down to the safety adjustments. I want to go ahead and bring my safety in a little bit closer. I find tight is a little bit too close. I can get burned over the top, where I prefer to do close, where it's 8 yards a little bit closer to the ball. So you get to be a little bit closer to the ball. And one other thing too, I was messing around with safety width, playing a little bit wider, but I don't think there's much of difference with this particular defensive setup. But I do like to go ahead and make sure that I've got a safety that's going to be on the strong side of the field, where there's going to be a third wide receiver mid-pointing that strong defender. Now, out of the huddle, we're going to go ahead and call this particular play right here, which is going to be the nickel 2 trap. In the scheme, I also do have this nickel dog 3 buzz, and then also the nickel dog meg. But we're going to focus only on this particular play because I want you to understand some of the past responsibilities that you have. First and foremost, when it comes to this here play, you always have that pocket blitz. Now I'm going to user this defender, and he's always going to be to the strong side of the formation. So wherever the 3 wide receiver side is, he's going to come in. I'm going to user this guy. I'm going to bring him over to either over the running back or basically into the middle of the formation, right over the center to preoccupy them. And you can just go ahead and blitz all linebackers, and now you've got yourself, basically your 6 people attacking against your opponent, and it's just a really simple and easy blitz. You can see right here, another thing I did is I shifted the line over. That way I know this guy's going to come off clean, and I'm going to use it right here, basically preoccupying these guys, and a lot of times what's going to happen is that the blitz is going to come in. But very, very simple blitz all. You're going to show the blitz to your opponent. And then once he snaps the ball, you got the pressure coming in. You can see I've got a double A gap pressure because he's actually sending his running back out, and that pressure is going to come in quick. So you've always got that in your back pocket. It's always something you can actually go ahead and throw into your opponent, and you're going to make him think about that with this. Now, I want to just point out that these defenders, basically against a 2x2 set, so basically 2x2, where I've got one wide receiver here, I got another wide receiver over here, I've got one wide receiver here, another guy in the slot position, and the running back in the backfield. These guys should technically match up to the number 2s in this scheme. So it's not always consistent, but for the most part against 2x2 formations that actually happens. My responsibility is to watch the running back, and if he goes to the flat and there's a post or some type of routes that go over the top, I have to take the running back with my pass responsibility. If it is a streak slant concept, basically the corner should come down and play that, and then I have to go ahead and take the slant, a flat slant concept. I've got to go ahead and take the flat as a responsibility. But you can see pressure still comes in pretty strong right there. And the running back actually, he caught the ball in that type of situation. But I just wanted to show you that you still get, with 4 defenders out there, they actually get pretty good block shed. They still get in because you're basically showing the offensive line 5 blitzers. Right here, you can see the running back actually stays in. And now I'm actually a free agent. the coverage actually goes up a little bit high right there because there's a little bit matching principles. Now, something I was adjusting right now is actually going ahead and taking these defensive ends and putting them on defense onto curl flats. I've tried seam flats, I've tried hard flats, and I find that the curl flats will get out a little bit higher depth and defend, you know, basically out corners and stuff like that a little bit better with a curl flat with the defensive ends. So this is a good way to go ahead and blend this in, putting those defensive ends and curl flats to kind of take things away. You can see how this guy actually got in that way of that play right there and actually made a play at the ball. And sometimes you can click on and actually go ahead and do that. So this is a nice little play to go ahead and jump into really, really quick. Just to go ahead and do some coverage against your opponent. Problem with this is that obviously you've got 5 blockers for 2 defenders. He'll most likely go and do that, but this is a good way to just go ahead and get a feel for what your opponent likes to do. A lot of players, you get players that are going to wait for the routes to develop. You have other players that like to get rid of the ball really quick. So this kind of gives you a feel for what you want to do. Right here, we're going to go once again set up basically a 4-man rush, and you got the matching principles, and you can see that this guy actually matches to the little crossing route and comes over. So you got a defender out there. It's not like he's going to completely let that coverage go up. Now, another adjustment you could do is play the sticks. That's another thing you could do. And here's another play the sticks blitz. So what I like to do with play the sticks blitz is I'm going to play the sticks. I'm going to have this guy in a curl flat. I'll put this guy into a hook curl. I'll put this guy in a hook curl, and I'll put this guy into a flat zone. And I'm going to send the pressure in with the anticipation that if he gets past this line and the pressure gets picked up, I'm going to give up the over the top. But I'm actually going ahead and try to stop this guy over the side. Now, one thing I want to let you know, if you got a guy that's like really inside position and you got a slot defender, a curl flat, the purple zone is a lot better to do this because he's going to slide out further opposed to a hook curl where he's going to kind of stick where he's at. So let's watch the hook curl. We'll see what happens with this guy. You kind of see how he sticks. If he was a curl flat, he would slide out and then kind of stay low. So that's just a little adjustment. You can see the pressure comes in. The guy has to get rid of the ball when you play the stick splits, but that's just kind of an adjustment. Now, what's cool about this particular defense is that once you get, when you're going to feel for your adjustments, you can make these adjustments a lot faster. But what I like about this particular defense is that I can go ahead and throw a lot of, basically flood coverage. Another thing you can do too is you can take your one defender, put him into a mid deep, because that is kind of your pass responsibility. You want to stay low, but you have to go ahead and fill the middle. You can put a mid third out there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use this open area right here against any kind of coverages and stuff like that. So you've got kind of a sample of matching coverages and whatnot, but you can see there's defenders in this area right here for him to try to go and hit that to the outside. So that's what I do like about this here play. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the next play. But you can see it's fairly simple to set up. Just a couple adjustments. You're basically going to go ahead and run, your defensive curls, and then do a mid read right over the middle of the field. These are adjustments that you can get down really quick because it's going to be global adjustments as opposed to doing individual adjustments, which sometimes takes a little bit more time. Now, 2x2 tight sets, really the running back is the threat. What you can do with 2x2 tight is that you can go and press these guys down, because it's not like the safeties are going to be out of position with a tight set. So this is one thing you can do, is you can press your guys down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and show that we can still go ahead and hit our guy with the blitz. You can see the pressure actually got in right here, and he takes off the quarterback. Now, my responsibility with the corner defender is to make sure that guy does not get to the outside. So I want to go ahead and make sure that he does that. But for the most part, these hook zones will cover the inside defenders, so that's not necessarily my pass responsibility that we have to be concerned about. But you've got that pocket blitz. You can hit against your opponent underneath. You can see how these guys are matched up, and they come across the field. So if you get a lucky click on, you might be able to pick a ball off. I usually let the CPU play that. So we're going to press. We've got the vert hooks matching the number 2s. And then I've got over-the-top help with the guys right there. You can see that the run fits are pretty good too. You've got the 6 guys in the box. One other thing is that you want to make sure you protect the flat. So if this guy actually comes out, that's my responsibility. I have to go ahead and make sure that I protect the flat against the running back. We've got to be very conscious of the running back. See how the running back goes out there. There's nobody out here against the running back, but everything else is kind of pretty well matched up for the most part. All the defenders are over the top. You can see right there that he might have been able to throw over the top of that, but you can see how those defenders are over the middle. Now, 3x1 spread sets and bunch sets are just a little bit different. You would think logically the defense would run a little bit differently. You would think that this guy would match up over here. You would think this guy would match up on the running back, and then I actually have to go ahead and user and play this third wide receiver, my third wide receiver responsibility. But this is not how the defense works, and this can kind of throw your opponent off. Basically what happens is this guy matches up on the 2, and this guy comes over and matches up on the 3. So my responsibility is to take this user defender and actually put him over here, and I have to defend the flat with the notion knowing that these guys are going to match up on the backside. Now here's the problem: when I pull myself out of position, that means that this line of vertical's attack is basically going to overwhelm that pass responsibility. So what I like to do is take on the 3 wide receiver side, I want to put this guy into a curl flat so I can basically get somebody into the passing lane so he can't actually have a free look at that. So this is kind of what I like to do, is I'm going to still rush basically 3 and I'm a free agent number 4, and my responsibility is to defend any kind of flat route and look for a slant coming over the middle of the field, basically pick that up and let that corner not carry. So matching principles with this formation, but you can see how the corner route actually gets picked up. You probably want to have a faster linebacker out there, 85, 86 speed, maybe more, 89 speed. If you got some fast guys, it's going to make your team a little bit better because they're going to get out. But you got to defend basically, the curl flat is going to be that guy's going to get into that area and make it a little bit more difficult. You can see he takes a shot up top. Stevenson's over the top. That should be an interception. I don't get the animation and that big of a play, but you can see that what's cool about this coverage is that it's pretty effective against cover 3. Once again, we're going to go ahead and run this once again. User the flat, the slant, deep middle. So basically I want to go ahead and defend against the flat. I want to come back to the slant, and I want to go back up into the middle. So my responsibility is to kind of slide down, look for anything coming over the middle, deep middle of the field. As far as my pass responsibility, you can see nobody came out to those out routes right there, but everything else is pretty much locked up. We've got defenders over the top of the coverages, so he might be able to throw underneath the coverages, but with this particular play, it does a pretty effective job, basically stopping this stuff. So let's just go ahead and keep running this. We're going to jump in a bunch now. Now you can see how a mesh concept kind of messes things up. This guy's out of position. The running back route is out of position. But I still got that curl flat that's going to come down and actually go ahead and try to bottle that up. But I've got to go ahead and defend in the middle of the field. You can see I got there a little bit late, but you can see I was in position because of that. 3x1 bunch plays just like 3x1 spread. Similar situation. I'm going to go ahead and bundle things or bunch things up. I want to put a curl flat out there in that type of situation, and I need to defend the running back on the backside. Blitz actually came in. I got some pretty good pressure against him, and you can see how everything was just locked up. I had double teams on that. The running back basically was not did not go out. Stayed into block, and I set everything up. I do shift my line over once again because I want to go ahead and make sure it makes it hard for him to run the opposite side. And I'm gonna go ahead and user this defensive slot defender over the middle. You can see right here, running back is open. These guys are sliding out, but I've got pretty much everything is got defenders in the area. And you can see right there, there's a guy right there. Even though he breaks the tackle and catches it, my defender's there, and that's the most important thing, is having a defender. in that area with this here play. So we're going to go ahead and set this up once again. Very simple setup. You know, basically my responsibility is to protect that flat with my running back. Running back right there. You can see how everything is just kind of bundled up. And if the running back does go underneath the coverage, I do have that curl flat on the backside. If he's using basically a lot of flat routes or underneath routes, I can always use a hard flat out there to get a defender out there. But you can see I got matching principles. He was out leveraged in that type of situation, but people are in the position to go ahead and make plays. So that's what I like about it. Now I'm not using the blitz on a regular basis. I'm just showing you the coverage more than anything else, because I can always hit this guy with a blitz, and that means he's going to have to block his running back. One other thing too is you can use sticks to basically confuse your opponent a little bit, but you can see right there that could have been picked off right there with that particular play. So this does a really good job about that. One other thing I can do is if I want to make sure I'm more of a free agent when I play in the middle of the field or something like that, I can go ahead and man up this defensive end on the running back is kind of an option. And this actually will go ahead and you know, stop the run, but also go ahead and have another guy that's going to be out there to play that. So that looks like it was a cross running back screen play right there. So setting this up once again. I want to get that third defender out there. Go ahead and man up the running back, the defensive end of the running back. And you can see that he actually carries with that guy right there, and he picks that play up right there. So broken tackle right there. It's not something you're going to see on a regular basis. Now, empty is still a work in progress, but I want to kind of show you how similar kind of adjustments to a 3x2 empty. Once again, these guys will match up on these guys, and my responsibility is to come over here. I want to go ahead and take my edge defender and actually put him into a curl flat, just so that if he tries to take a shot down the seam, I'm going to get someone in that passing lane, making it a little bit more difficult. And if he tries to go ahead and hit us over the top, I've got this, and I've got the safeties that are going to support that. Other adjustment too against this is I'm going to go ahead and put this guy into a QB contain. So that's the option with this. I put this guy in a QB contain because what's going to happen is he's going to get in the middle lane. So if there's any kind of mesh concept, it's going to slow up his reads a little bit. But also, if he waits and then he takes off this quarterback, I want my fastest defender that's going to be able to take away a quarterback. So that's how I set this up. My responsibility, more than anything else, is to try to defend this side of the field and in the middle of the field. So I want to go ahead and cheat to this side of the field and then actually go ahead and do this, because I've got all these guys are going to be coming over to this side, supporting the 3 side. I'm going to support the 2 side. The weakness of this defense is basically this defender that does a post or something over the middle of the field. So that's where I have to be conscious of that. But you can see right here, the defenders are in the area right there. They actually carry, match, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to work on this good defense, but basically it's still similar setup. What we have, we've got 3 wide receivers. I want to go and do a curl flat and then go ahead and spy up the backside guy, just so he could do that. But you can see how the matching principles actually picked that one guy up, but it actually could have got myself out of in some trouble. But we'll play around with this a little bit more as far as the defense is concerned. One thing you do want to remember is that basically you still got that setup blitz set up against your opponent. You can play sticks and basically go ahead and have this set up like so. I've got the blitz set up. Curl flats, hook curls in this type of situation. We're going to do the blitz. I want to be on the strong side of the formation, but someone's coming in with this, and you're going to have defenders who are going to play over the top of the coverage for the most part, be able to make a play. So that's why it's important to actually have this type of a blitz that you have as an option. You can set this up, but I like to go ahead and have that coverage going right away. So I just wanted to show you, these things that you can actually do against your opponent. So this is something I'll be labbing out a little bit more. I just kind of babbled a little bit, but I want to show this to you. So once again, thank you for your support, guys. Until next time.